Hey, buckle up because we need to talk about why it feels like the institution of marriage is basically on life support right now. Have you checked your feed lately? It is absolute chaos. Seriously, every single time I refresh my notifications, it's another joint statement written in that same boring font on a beige background. It feels like every week a new Hollywood power couple is filing for divorce and heading straight to court. We see these couples who seem to have it all, the fame, the money, the private jets, and yet they can't seem to make it past a few years without calling it quits. It's like a domino effect is sweeping through the A-list, and honestly, it's starting to get a little bit scary for those of us who still believe in love. But hey, it's not just the people living in mansions who are struggling. If you've been on TikTok or Instagram lately, you've probably seen those viral statistics making the rounds. People are claiming that nearly 50% of all marriages in the United States are ending in a total thank you next situation. Can you believe that? Half of the people saying I do are eventually saying I'm done. It's a staggering number that makes you wonder if the wedding industry is just a giant trap. We're spending tens of thousands on flowers and cake just to sign legal papers. Is it true? Or is the internet just being dramatic? Well, the numbers don't lie, and the trend is pointing toward a very single future for a lot of Americans. Let's look at the big names that have recently hit the headlines. We have to talk about the elephant in the room, J-Lo and Ben Affleck. I mean, come on, this was supposed to be the ultimate comeback story, right? Bennifer 2.0 was meant to prove that true love always finds its way back. But then the rumors started, the rings disappeared, and suddenly it was over. Again, and she's not the only one. Even someone as seemingly stable and perfect as Reese Witherspoon shocked everyone when her marriage came to an end. It makes you ask, are these celebrities setting a trend for the rest of us? Or are they just falling victim to the same intense pressures that we all face in 2024? The weirdest part is the contrast, don't you think? One day you're scrolling through Instagram and you see this perfectly curated photo of a happy family on a beach. Everything looks flawless. The lighting, the smiles, the matching outfits. But then, literally days later, you find out they've been living in separate houses for months and the documents were already filed. Why are we so obsessed with watching these unions crumble? We're living in an era where the image of a marriage is often more important than the marriage itself, and that's a recipe for disaster. This brings us to the big question: is the traditional idea of a lifelong partnership officially dead in the United States? Or are we just looking at the whole concept of marriage through an outdated lens? Maybe we're not failing at marriage. Maybe marriage is failing us. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We've got so much more to dive into, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next part of this deep breakdown. There is a massive cultural shift happening right under our noses. Marriage used to be a survival necessity, something you did to secure your future. But now, it's more like an optional accessory. If it doesn't fit your lifestyle, people are much quicker to just take it off. Rumors say that the reasons behind these modern breakups aren't just about irreconcilable differences. It's time to pull back the curtain on love. Do you still believe in soulmates, or is marriage just a piece of paper in 2024? Stay tuned, because the real secrets are coming. Now, let's talk about the spotlight curse, because it is a very real thing in the world of the rich and famous. You'd think having millions in the bank would make life easier, right? But honestly, being too famous or too wealthy can actually be the ultimate relationship sabotager. Imagine every single argument you have with your partner being picked apart by millions of people who don't even know you. When you're living under a microscope like J-Lo or Ben Affleck, there's no room for a bad day, and everything is a headline. If Ben looks a little grumpy at an awards show, the internet explodes with rumors that the marriage is failing. That kind of pressure is enough to make anyone want to run for the hills. It turns a private partnership into a public performance, and once the audience starts booing, it's hard to keep the show going. But it's not just about the cameras. It's about a massive shift in how we live our lives. Welcome to the independent woman era. Everyone. This is probably one of the biggest reasons for the spike in divorces that nobody wants to admit is actually a good thing in some ways. Back in our grandparents' day, many women stayed in unhappy or even toxic marriages because they literally had no other choice. They needed a husband for financial survival. But in 2024, the script has been flipped. With more women becoming the primary breadwinners in the United States, that need to stay in a mediocre marriage has totally evaporated. If the vibe is off, she's got her own bank account, her own career, and her own exit strategy. Is independence the secret marriage killer? It might just be the factor that's making people realize they don't have to settle for less than they deserve. Then we have the digital poison that we all carry in our pockets. Social media. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram are like a 24/7 reminder that the grass might be greener somewhere else. We aren't just competing with our neighbors for the best lawn anymore. We're comparing our lives to fitness models in Miami and billionaires in Dubai. You see a perfect couple on your feed, and suddenly your husband's habit of leaving socks on the floor feels like a deal breaker. We are constantly being sold a version of reality that doesn't exist, and it's making us miserable in our actual relationships. Why settle for a normal, messy human when the internet tells you that a perfect soulmate is just one swipe away? It's a dangerous game of comparison that almost nobody wins. And let's look at the age factor for a second. There is this huge debate between the generations. Are Gen Z and millennials waiting too long to get married, or are they just being more realistic? The boomers set a standard for forever that was often built on silence and endurance. But today's younger couples are looking at that and saying, no thanks. However, this delay means when they finally do tie the knot, the expectations are sky high. If it doesn't feel like a fairy tale immediately, they start questioning everything. On the flip side, we're seeing the starter marriage phenomenon. You know what I'm talking about? Younger couples treating their first marriage like a trial run. They get married, realize it's actually hard work, and think, oh well, I'll just try again. The commitment level feels lower than it used to be, and the idea of till death do us part feels like a very long time. Money plays a huge role too. Even for celebrities, financial strain is a silent killer. Lifestyle inflation is real. You start needing more and more just to feel normal. And let's not forget prenuptial agreements. While they are smart for protecting assets, they also change the vibe of a marriage before it even starts. It's like saying, I love you, but here's exactly how we'll split the plates when we eventually hate each other. It adds a layer of business to what should be an emotional bond, and that can be hard to ignore when things get rocky. Finally, we have to talk about the shift toward mental health awareness. People are finally prioritizing healing over staying for the kids. In the past, the motto was, grin and bear it. Now, the trend is, find your peace. Therapy has given people the tools to realize when a situation is no longer serving them. While that's great for the individual, it's leading to a lot more exits as people realize they deserve more. But wait, because it gets even juicier. Rumors say there are specific receipts and secret signs a couple is about to announce a split, and we are going to dive into those very soon. Are you ready to see the evidence that proves a divorce is coming before it even hits the news? We are talking about the soft launch of Divorce Next, and trust me, you've been seeing these signs without even realizing it. Now, let's get into the part you've all been waiting for, the soft launch of divorce. You've seen it, right? It's that subtle, almost invisible shift in a couple's digital footprint that sends the internet into a total frenzy. One day they're posting forever selfies, and the next, someone is spotted grabbing coffee without their wedding ring. It's never an accident. In the world of high-stakes PR, a missing ring is like a flare gun in the dark. Fans start zooming in on every paparazzi shot, checking for empty fingers. Then come the solo vacations. We see one half of a power couple like J-Lo or Ben Affleck chilling in Italy while the other is busy working thousands of miles away. It's the classic I need some space move that almost always precedes a legal and heart-wrenching filing. And don't even get me started on the dreaded digital Instagram purge. When those anniversary posts suddenly vanish, yeah, that's not a glitch. That's the sound of a lawyer's pen hitting a document. It's a pattern we've seen play out time and time again. People are getting really good at spotting these red flags before the official statement even hits our feeds. The rumor mill is always spinning, feeding us those juicy blind items that make our collective jaws drop. You've heard the stories, the nanny scandals that feel like a cliche, or the rumors of secret separate lives where a couple shares a mansion but hasn't shared a meal or a conversation in months. Sometimes celebrities lead these parallel existences for years just to maintain their totally massive brand deals or protect their public image. It's wild to think that while we're liking their family photos, they might be sleeping in different wings of a house. When the truth finally leaks, the public doesn't just watch, we take sides. Are you Team Jennifer or Team Ben on social media? We saw this with Reese Witherspoon. Fans immediately started theorizing about what went wrong. The pressure from these fan bases is intense. People analyze every look, every tired sigh, and every like on a cryptic quote. This collective obsession creates a pressure cooker environment that makes it almost impossible for a couple to reconcile. When the world says you're better off apart, it's hard not to believe it. But have you noticed the timeline for marriage is shrinking? We used to talk about the 7-year itch, but in 2024 it feels more like the 2-year burnout. Why are so many couples hitting a wall at the 24-month mark? Maybe it's because the honeymoon phase wears off faster when life is moving at the speed of a TikTok scroll. We want instant gratification, and when a marriage requires actual serious maintenance, people check out. Relationship gurus and divorce lawyers are seeing this everywhere. They're saying the situationship is becoming the new marriage model for many. It's low commitment, high flexibility, and if the vibe stops being positive, you just end it. Experts see a massive shift toward till this stops feeling good, instead of the traditional till death do us part. It's an overhaul of the American family structure, where individual happiness outweighs long-term commitment. This is the reality of modern love in the States. So what's next? Looking ahead to 2025, predictions are rolling in, and they are spicy. Fans are looking at certain couples with side-eye. Have you seen the sus behavior from some of our favorite stars? People are already placing bets on who's going to be the next to split. It feels like we're just waiting for the next high-profile domino to fall. Ultimately, the verdict is clear. We are living in a time where personal growth is the goal. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not, but it makes for a chaotic romantic landscape. So, what do you think? Is the dream of a 50th anniversary officially over? Drop a comment below and tell us which celebrity couple will actually go the distance. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into life. We've got plenty more tea to